Hey everyone, this is Jon McNaughton. Welcome to my studio. And today I'm going to be talking about some of my new paintings I've just got finished and some new paintings I plan on doing and some things going on in the world right now. And it'll be a lot of fun. If you tell us where you're from, we'll post it on our show here. It's fun to see where different people are at. Uh, I'm going to be with my good friend Seth Adam Smith, who's with us today. Hey, Seth.
Howdy. How you
And
doing?
it's, there's this new painting I'm going to be showing you is one I've been working on for the last little while, and it's a lot of fun. So let's put it up there and let's show you what the new release is. This is my painting called Let's Go Brandon. And it was a lot of fun coming up with this idea. You've all heard that expression, let's go Brandon, right? So I had this idea of having President Trump leaning back against his own race car, and it's all decked out, kind of like the NASCARs are with the stickers and everything. He's on the speedway. He's got, hundreds of thousands of people watching, and it's just the ultra patriotic painting. Okay. So part of the fun of this was coming up with all the different stickers and things like that and posing the model. And, I'm not like a really knowledgeable NASCAR guy, so I had to do a lot of research on this. It was Bakersfield, California.
California.
Anyway, so I had to do a lot of research on this. If you look in the top of the painting above, you see the cloud that's kind of like an eagle that's coming in. And so it's kind of, going full on patriotic. But, I don't know if you guys remember when that Let's Go Brandon thing happened. Do many of you remember that?
Vividly.
Vividly? It was surreal. It was like, I can't believe this actually happened on CNN. Wasn't it CNN or was it MSNBC? Do you remember?
It was. I can't remember. It wasn't one of those, but they were reporting at NASCAR or an event like
Yeah,
similar.
I don't know, but they had this reporter interviewing this guy who had just won one of his races. His name was Brandon, and in the background, all the people in the stands were chanting really loud, "F Joe Biden," and they kept saying it. And she's like, isn't that funny? They keep saying, "Let's go, Brandon, let's go, Brandon." And he was a little embarrassed, and that caught on like wildfire, right? I
Oh yeah.
mean, everybody was talking about it. And it became kind of a joke because, most conservatives, I'm one of them, I don't like to use that language. It's just not in my vocabulary. I don't care if others say that word, but I don't like to use it. I would much prefer to say, let's go, Brandon, because it means exactly the same thing. And
Well, apparently Joe Biden prefers to use that phrase as
right,
well.
even Joe Biden said it, right? He
On
says it.
Christmas, it was the best Christmas gift he's ever given.
Oh man, I didn't see it when it happened, but I
Mhm.
saw a clip of it. Were they doing some kind of like the following the reindeer or
Yeah,
Santa or something like
yeah,
that?
and they were calling into the White House. There's this little tradition where they call into the White House, and the president answers phone calls of various individuals. And one of the people who called in, he spoke, and at the very end of the phone call, he said, "Oh, and by the way, let's go, Brandon." And Joe Biden goes, "Let's go, Brandon. I agree."
And then you could see Jill Biden's face. She was kind of like, "Oh," and she looked at him, and it was like one of those major awkward moments. It was so surreal. Like, how could that have happened?
Yeah.
But a lot of Americans, and here's the reason I painted this picture. It's the whole "Let's Go Brandon" idea it's kind of humorous, but it really reflects the way a, a large portion of the American population feels about this presidency. I mean, he has just stuck the finger to all the American people. I mean, with the things that he's done since he's been in office, and even the way that the election turned out. We won't go into that, but everybody just feels like how did this happen? And the idea of turning it around and getting Trump back in or somebody like him to take the reins again and turn our country around, that's a very appealing idea to me. And so to create this somewhat, it's kind of a fantasy picture. It's just sort of humorous. But again, the way I usually paint my pictures is they have this kind of serious undertone.
Mhm.
And so Let's Go Brandon is how I feel about going into the 2024 election. So the idea of having Trump wearing his roadster, uh, speedster outfit, that the drivers wear,
Yeah.
and I had to do research on getting that accurate, the way that they wear those, and the different. I don't know if you go back to the close up. Do we have the close up of this?
Yep.
You can see the detail on his jacket. It says LGB FJB 47, and the one that's beneath the collar says US 1621, and then he's got 45. He was the 45th president. I mean,
Mhm.
I think he's the 45th, the 46th, and might be the 47th president, which would be quite interesting. That's one way around it. But and then there's other stickers on there, mega, and you can see those. Let's Go Brandon on the window.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
mean,
47s, a lot of 47 numbers
a
here.
lot of 47s. Yeah. Go back to the full picture. So it says he's kind of covering up the 4, but it's a 47 on the side of the car, America First. And, you see it says USA right there on the hood of the car. I had to change that because I had the acronym LGB for Let's Go Brandon on there. And my wife walked in and she looked at it. She's like, "Why do you got LGB on there?" And I told her, she goes, "I think most people are going to think of lesbian, gay, bisexual."
Mhm. Yeah.
Because it wasn't until a few years ago they added the T to it. Now they've got all kinds of other letters they've added, but
Yeah, lots of them.
so yeah, so some people might get the wrong idea. So I thought, well, USA, that works. Have you seen 2000 Mules, Sonia? Yes, I saw it. I went at the preview last week, and I thought it was amazing. And I didn't go in there with any kind of preconceptions. But I mean, that's the first time I have seen something that's so convincing. I can't understand why the the Justice Department or somebody's not investigating this at this point, because they've got so much evidence that the election was stolen that I just, it blows my mind. So I did actually put that on the race car, right to the side of his right knee. It says 2000 mules, just to the right of the front tire. So it's kind of hard to see there, but yeah, I saw that and it's amazing. I'm actually thinking of doing a painting to go along with that. If any of you have any ideas of a great painting that would go with 2000 mules, let me know.
Yep, like
Um,
a singular, a standalone image, kind of something like this.
yeah, it's got to be a really provocative image that's not so obvious. Something that could really be the icon image to represent what that's all about.
Mhm.
Um, I've heard some people talk about having people carrying a donkey filled with ballots, and doing something like that. I don't know, but it's got to be pretty amazing to do it. I've actually talked with the DeSouzas about this, and they like the idea of me doing a painting.
Oh, you're good friends with, Dinesh.
Well, I wouldn't say we're like chummy, but I've been on a show. He's interviewed me, and he gave me the idea for the solitary confinement painting, and that was a very successful painting.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we're gonna at some point talk about it. But regardless of whether they collaborate on the painting, I'm still going to do something because it's such a powerful idea. So thanks for bringing that up. So Cincinnati, Ohio, pretty cool. Um, but this painting, I just released it today. It's already started to sell, and it's doing really well. I never know when I do a painting whether they're going to sell out or how fast they sell. I think this one's hitting a nerve with a lot of people, and it's just a lot of fun to watch these things roll out.
Well, another one we were talking about, and we don't have to go into this, but right before the show started, we were talking about. So this is like the idea, an iconic image representing "Let's Go Brandon,"
Right.
and then we were talking about, hey, you've been hearing this phrase, "Ultra MAGA." That the Democrats are rolling this out like it's some boogeyman, the Ultra
Well,
MAGA.
was it Biden that used that expression just recently?
I believe Jen Psaki used it first last week. I believe I heard it first from her. They're kind of testing it out, and then yes, this
So
week
they tried to
directly
use
after.
it as a negative thing, like ultra MAGA, really bad people. Kind of
Mhm.
that was the idea. Well, that would be a great title for a painting too. All these ideas. You know, I get a kick out of hearing people.
Here's Sonia wrote this.
It
There's a
took
meme.
2,000 mules to get a jackass. Boy, Sonia, you're on fire tonight.
We
Thanks.
got right,
Mules
right.
with mail pouches. Yeah, I like yeah, having the mules with the mail pouches full of ballots. That's a pretty cool idea. I'd have to expand on it. I'd have to do something to make it even more provocative. We
More
could have a lot
Jon
of fun with
McNaughton.
that. Yeah. Okay. So while you're thinking of a good idea for a 2,000 mules painting, um, let's uh, let's talk about a new painting idea I've got. Go to the next one that shows my older painting of Democrats playing poker.
Yep.
Okay. So to preface what I'm going to talk about right now, back in 2019, as we were gearing up for the election, a lot of the Democrats were kind of jockeying to see who would be the next nominee for the Democrat Party. And I did this painting called Democrats Playing Poker, and the reason I did this is because I was every time I would do a new painting, they try to kind of outdo themselves with insulting me. And the most common insult is, "Oh, that painting's no better than dogs playing poker." And I thought, well, that's so funny. Why don't I do a dogs playing poker, but instead I make it the Democrats? So I had all the different nominees around the table, and they're surrounded by these dogs. It's kind of like they pushed the dogs out of the way, and it was kind of a prophetic painting because you've got Joe Biden and Kamala right next to each other, and you notice he's got his arm around her. He doesn't quite have those personal spaces figured out, and behind him is the portrait of President Trump. He's winking. They just can't get rid of him, no matter how hard they try. A lot of little
I don't think
Easter
they
eggs.
want to get rid of him either.
Well, I know that CNN doesn't want to get rid of him because their ratings went down the toilet as soon as Trump was not as commonly spoken about.
Mhm.
Notice the details in the lamp. There's some fun things on there,
Oh,
but Biden turned out to be a real, in my mind, a real shyster, and so here they are cheating at poker. And I feel like everything that's happening in this country is so underhanded. The what's going on with inflation and what we've had to deal with the COVID and all the lying, and now what's going on in Ukraine. Personally, I don't think we should be involved in that Ukrainian war. It could explode into something much worse. And I think Biden is. I think he's going to go down as the worst president in my mind.
oh yeah,
So, what's that, Seth?
easily, and
Easily.
I'm beginning to view what's going on in Ukraine, especially when it comes to the money. Uh, it's like what is it? A Ponzi scheme? What's the word? I mean, they're just using it to shuffle money to,
Bait and switch or
yeah,
something like
all
that.
sorts of different people. And I think it's unlikely that a lot of that relief money is actually going to people who need the money the most. I think it's going to pay off people.
Well, I think the thing that bothers me is that we would get involved in a war like this that could actually erupt into a more serious conflict with the Russians. I mean, they've threatened nuclear weapons and things like that. Why should we be involved in this war? I mean, something that it makes no sense to me. I mean, they're not even a part of NATO. So I don't know. That's a whole topic of its own, but it really bothers me. And I think that not only has Biden made our country much weaker and destroyed our economy, but now his foreign policy is making things very dangerous for Americans. That really bothers me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of some good paintings that I can do now that I've done the Let's Go Brandon. It's very appropriate. I got to think of my next painting. I've got some really serious paintings coming later in this year. And I got to kind of get ready. I got to relax before I do this. So I got at least one more painting before I jump into those. And I'm thinking of doing a painting that's called Politically Incorrect, and just put everything in this painting that drives the lefties crazy. I mean, just irritate them because there's nothing in this world I hate more than political correctness. I think that it's just this whole woke thing has destroyed it's destroyed many people's lives, their careers, their businesses. It'll probably be the end of me too because I'm not politically correct. In fact, I'm probably the least politically correct artist there is.
Well,
Uh,
right. I've
well,
noticed.
Politico said that they said that McNaughton may be the most divisive artist in the world or something like that. It was crazy. And I don't think I'm divisive. I just think that I have a strong opinion. I mean, if I was a leftist painting something that was strongly, in that favor, they would never say that. But because I'm a conservative and there's not many that do what I do, I'm the most divisive artist in the world. But an artist has to paint and create what they believe in, and I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in American values. What's wrong with that? So, with that in mind, hey Cindy from Missouri. With that in mind, how about painting something that represents what politically incorrect is about? So, I'm going to share with you my idea, and if you have any cool ideas, you feel free to pop in and we'll share them on here. Okay. So I pictured this black guy. He kind of looks like Chris Rock. Okay, skinny black dude. He's wearing a black "Make America Great Again" hat, and he's got a shirt that says "All Lives Matter." Okay, he's wearing like a denim jacket with big button that says "Straight Pride," and he's got a big belt buckle with the Dixie Confederate flag on it. Okay, and he's wearing tactical clothes with an AR-15 that has the American flag on it, and just anything else I can think of.
Just
Just
one person,
what?
one person. You're not doing a crowd of people.
I'm thinking one person. Just
One person to be politically
make
incorrect.
this guy the most politically incorrect dude. And I don't want it to be R-rated. I want it to be, it'll be kind of humorous, but
Well,
obviously serious undertones.
I mean,
So,
tongue in cheek. I mean, wouldn't politically incorrect these days be a family? You got kids in a family, because man, it just seems like, I mean, today, 49 Democrats basically voted for abortion up until the moment of birth. They were trying to codify
mhm.
abortion rights. 40 up until the moment of birth, and it's just the Democrats are becoming increasingly an anti-family, anti-children party,
Anti-life, anti-God,
anti-life.
anti all these things. It's like they pushed the limits so far that not very many Americans can even understand and identify with them.
Yeah,
Costa Rica, whoa,
yeah.
awesome. So anyway, I'm playing around with an idea like that, and I kind of have an idea in my head, and I'll probably
NRA on his
add some more
NRA
stuff
in
to
his
it.
jacket. We got Sonia said NRA on his
Oh,
jacket.
NRA on the jacket. That's pretty cool because he's going to be wearing tactical gear and he's going to have an AR-15, and kind of like he's out on the range. He's a responsible gun owner. Got to make that clear. Because there's all these stereotypes, that they've got with right wing conservatives that we're just hillbillies, or that we're not responsible gun owners, or racist, or whatever. We're none of that. I mean, we're the salt of the earth. we're, we're the people that will help a brother in need. We'll help you change your flat tire. But
Yeah.
if you say something derogatory to my sister, I'm going to kick your teeth in, right? We don't mess with that.
Yeah, I worked at a very liberal
Thanks, Daniel.
company.
Mhm.
I worked at a very liberal company in California back in 2013, and then moved to Florida. And as before I left, they were telling me, "Oh, Florida, because of all the rednecks and all the hillbillies that are out there," And I thought, "What are you talking about?" And I went over there, and so much of what they had told me about Florida was unfounded. There was some truth to it. There were some weirdos, but that's true of anywhere you go. But man, salt of the earth people in Florida, salt of the earth people.
Yeah, they're salt of the earth everywhere you go. I
Yeah.
mean, even in some of these crazy liberal states, California, Oregon, New York, there's some really good people. And I feel bad for those who have to deal with all that insanity, where they're at. But to do something that just really pokes a finger in the eye of the whole woke world is what I'd like to do in a single painting and have a lot of fun with it. So that might be my next painting. It'll be called Politically Incorrect. Politically Incorrect with Jon McNaughton instead of Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher. How's that?
I like
He's used my paintings on his show a few times to just kind of make fun of stuff. Because I really am one of the most politically incorrect artists. The very first political painting I did was the One Nation Under God. That's right here on the wall with Christ holding the Constitution. And that just really, really upset him. How dare you suggest Christ would write the Constitution? Not something I ever said, but I believe it's an inspired document. Well, how dare you say that this is a Christian nation? Well, it was, the Constitution was inspired by Judeo-Christian beliefs, and that's kind of been the hallmark of our country for over 150 years. So anyway, I'm unabashedly patriotic and pro-American, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the paintings. Okay, so Joe says, I love the dogs and the picture on the wall. The rest I can't even look at. It's that gag factor. I love your work. More than that, I love your standing up for faith, country, decency, the Constitution, all things that make America great. Thank you. It's true. Like when I did the painting of the Forgotten Man back in 2011, I think it was, it has Obama standing on the Constitution. And that was a big seller. That was a really popular painting. But there was a lot of people that said, I cannot hang that in my house because that Obama guy makes me so upset. And I can understand that. People, I mean, there's the painting has to connect with you, and some people just can't stand to look at people that make them so angry. I get that. But I don't usually worry about whether a painting sells. I just get an idea and I just got to paint it.
Well, and it's remarkable because that painting, it is one of the most beautiful paintings you've done. The Forgotten Man. It was extremely detailed,
mm,
and you could argue that it wasn't a big seller, but then Sean Hannity bought the original of that. So it was a big seller
Well,
at
it
the
was a
end.
big seller. That's the thing, even though there were some people that didn't want to buy it for that reason, it was one of my biggest sellers.
Wow.
I never know what's going to be popular. I'll do a picture sometimes and I'll say, wow, this one's really going to be a big popular one and it won't sell very much. And then I'll do one, I'm like, oh, I hope people like it. Like the Crossing the Swamp.
Yeah.
Remember that painting, the one
Well,
that's on the
it's the
background?
background on this,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I did that and I was like, well, I'll put that out. I hope people like it. That thing was just the most popular painting. That's the one that President Trump himself wanted to buy. I had to tell him it was already sold.
I know
How
you
do
had to
you
tell them
can you
you had to
imagine
tell them
that?
you could sell
Telling
to 'em.
him that it's already sold?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Oklahoma, go Brandon. Oh, man. Thanks, Lori. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are so nice. So, I did another sketch of President Trump over the weekend. Put that on there. It's the one with the hat.
Oh, the sketch of the hat,
Yeah, yeah, he's
okay.
wearing the hat. Yeah, so I wanted to do one of President Trump wearing one of his new "Make America Great Again" hats, and this is just a sketch from my sketchbook. So I do these kind of quickly. You can tell they're sketches, but they're kind of fun. They capture a mood, and I got one of those hats when I went to one of his rallies in Conroe, Texas. That's when I met him, and they were giving out some of those hats, and it's a really cool hat. I've got it over on the other side there. But I wrote "A True American President." And I think that about says it all. So that was kind of cool. I did a conglomeration of three presidents in my sketches, and I called this one "Three Great Presidents." These are three of my favorites. Now, I could probably add some others. I did do a painting called Magnificent Seven that had others in it, like Jefferson, Washington, and some others. But these are three that really kind of stand out to me. You've got Lincoln, Trump, and Reagan, and they're some conservatives don't like Reagan at all, and I can understand what they're saying. Reagan, he could have gone down as the worst president in American history if it hadn't been for the emancipation of the slaves, which really changed the course of history. But they definitely strengthened the federal government during his time as president, which a lot of people, and I can understand why that bothers him. But I still like him. Yeah, George Washington would be nice there. I loved President Reagan. I miss President Reagan, just a gentle soul. I've done some paintings of him and some sketches. And I wonder how he would feel about what's going on in the country today if he saw it. He'd probably be beside himself. From Brooklyn, Ohio, Christiana. Awesome. Well, gosh, this is cool. Georgia, Felicia Whitaker. That's awesome. Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, that's a cool avatar with the baby. Okay, I'm getting distracted by all
Sorry.
these really interesting things here. But
Sorry.
I see what's going on in the country with Trump, and it was interesting that Elon Musk came out recently and said that it was stupid that Twitter had ever banned Trump in the first place. Did you see that, Seth?
Oh, yeah, yeah, and if you listen to the whole thing, it's pretty detailed, reason why, and I can't say I disagree with him, especially considering they banned Trump right when he was calling for everybody to go home, calm down, don't engage in violence, and then they kicked him off right when he was
Oh,
saying that.
it just seemed so obviously like they were trying to set him up, in my opinion.
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, he said to go peacefully to the building, to the Capitol. When they protest, to go peacefully, and that didn't happen. And then he told everybody to go home, and he said that it was he spoke out against the riot, and they still banned him because they thought that he caused the whole thing without any evidence of it. It was just so wrong to do that to a sitting president. Unbelievable. And then the Democrats capitalized on it. I mean,
Yeah.
we never got to see the videotapes of everything. They had all that videotape footage from the Capitol that day. Pelosi never allowed it to come out. She never explained why she refused the extra security that Trump requested for the Capitol. She never explained that. I mean, just so many things are just stinky.
No, there's a lot of really sketchy stuff. And there's the video. It's very disturbing, the video footage that they have released where it shows the person, security beating the person who's essentially dead.
Right,
I
right.
don't know if you've seen that, but that's a very disturbing video.
Well,
And
and the lady that was shot in the face or in the
Mhm.
neck that was breaking that window. She didn't have a gun or anything.
Well, and the guy who filmed that, he's from Utah. The guy
Hmm.
who filmed that, he was
He was an
advocating for
agitator, wasn't
violence.
he?
Oh, yeah, for violence, but in the summer of 2020, and, I almost reported him to the FBI, but it looked like there was a bunch of people on his Instagram
Uh-huh.
page that were already reporting him to the FBI, so I was like, "Well,
Mhm.
I guess."
But
But
did,
he
did
was
he ever
advocating
get
for
did he ever get indicted like all the other people?
he's under investigation, but he's free.
Because there was like 700 people that were incarcerated that and only 100 or so have even been charged from what I understand. This is
Mhm,
over a year now. This is
mhm.
what Dinesh D'Souza was telling me about.
Well, and this guy, he's the one who sold that footage to CNN. He said he
Right.
made $30,000
No, it
off of
was
that
I
footage.
mean, there was so much about that that just seemed like a setup.
Mhm.
Well, we probably shouldn't delve too much into that.
Yeah, not too much, but it was all very sketchy. You and I have talked about how even when Trump was finishing up his speech and he said, "Okay, go march," and they're all over here at the White House, and then there's like a mile march in
Mhm,
between the White House and the Capitol, and
mhm.
that's when the violence was occurring,
Yeah.
but they hadn't even started walking.
Yeah, people start coming off buses right up to the Capitol and getting ushered in, and I mean, that's some weird stuff going on there. Anyway,
Yeah.
so got the new painting out. Let's go, Brandon. If you feel that way and you feel the same way I do, go out to my website at johnmcnaughton.com. And while before they sell out, and hopefully they'll be there a while. But get yourself one of those, and I'll sign it for you.
Talking
um,
about, this one?
yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, I had to pose a model for that, and just I learned a lot about a little bit about NASCAR and what that's like. So Brandon says, "My family loves your art pieces. You paint exactly how we feel about the state of our union. Keep up the great work." Thanks, Brandon. Really
Hey,
appreciate
that's a Brandon you could say, "Let's go."
it. Yeah. Thanks, Brandon. Oh goodness, that's cool. Well, I don't really have anything else to mention tonight. We still have the NFT of Trump. If you haven't looked at that yet, the Trump McNifty is what they call it. And put up that NFT, would you? So we have this collection of NFTs, the Trump Legacy Collection, and each one is completely different. And so this is one of about 4,500 different NFTs. They're all different. So it's kind of like owning your own original. And if you're not familiar with it, NFT is for non fungible token, which is something you purchase and they hold it on the blockchain, which is kind of your proof of purchase, and it holds its value hopefully, and it's kind of a collectible thing. So if you're interested in getting one of these, you go to the johnmcnaughton.com, and at the top you'll see McNifty, and those are available. I think they're kind of cool. But each one's different, and you don't know which one you're going to get. You buy it, and you find out when it's sent to your crypto wallet address. Now, if you've never purchased anything like this before, there's some instructions on what you do. It's not too difficult. Probably take you about 5 minutes. But these are going to be highly collectible down the road. Right now, the crypto market is getting slammed, so people are kind of nervous if they do Bitcoin and all that kind of funny stuff. But these NFTs are going to be around a while, so go check that out. So with that in mind, I want to thank y'all for coming to our show tonight, and it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate your comments, and until next week, we'll see you in the studio.